Ukr-informed journalist Lana Samokhvalova found something strange while browsing Facebook for a schedule of commemorative events dedicated to the Euromaidan revolution. She accidentally unearthed an entire network of very suspicious, self-identified Ukrainian patriots. She quickly realized they were Kremlin trolls who had been working systematically to destabilize the situation in Ukraine.
Очень четко.
There was a very distinctive pattern. Every 2 to 3 days, they'd urge people to bring Molotov cocktails to these commemorative events, to overthrow the government, to throw their Molotov cocktails and march on the government. It was a very distinct and systematic call for violence. The moderator of the group, Mykola Hajduk, called himself Stepan Mazura at the time. It's hard to keep track of who's who. They change their display names regularly. But Lana pinned him as the lead author, primary source, and instigator of would-be riots. In truth, however, he had no connection to Ukraine whatsoever, except for a patriotic profile picture.
Я получила сканы.
I got some scans of his internet browser. I found out that he'd been online in St. Petersburg, Moscow, and the Moscow Oblast. This was just direct proof of what had been obvious from the very beginning. Mykola Hajduk is just one cog in a larger Russian information war machine. Russia seems prepared to spend whatever it takes to destabilize Ukraine, Europe, and the rest of the Western world. They do this by hiring thousands of trolls. Social activist Lyudmila Savchuk knows a lot about how these Russian troll factories work. She was able to infiltrate the Kremlin troll army.
Они работают везде, ВКонтакте.
They're everywhere. Facebook, ВКонтакте, LiveJournal, Odnoklassniki. They make their own fake news sites. They create their own news agencies. They pretend to be Ukrainian journalists. They write as if they're Ukrainian journalists, as if they're from Kiev or Kharkiv, but really they're in Russia. They simply take a news piece, rewrite it to how they need it, distort the information, and send it out into the world. According to Lyudmila Savchuk, there are more than 400 Kremlin trolls in the St. Petersburg office alone. They work 12-hour shifts, following specific instructions, and are paid about $1,000 a month. This can lead to tragic consequences.
Информационная война.
The information war they lead is mostly aimed at Ukraine and the United States. Until this information war ends, there won't be an end to any other war. I don't even know. It's such a tragic situation. The tragic consequences and sheer scale of this information war piqued the interest of another Ukrainian journalist, Roman Kulchinsky. With the help of his colleagues, Roman has exposed about 2,000 Kremlin trolls. He's studied their methods, the way they push buttons. They discredit the government. They play on the emotions of everyday Ukrainians. Their aim is to lure people into their networks, get their victims to believe in them. When people get trapped in this environment, they become surrounded by hatred. They start believing that things are worse than they were under Yanukovych. The trolls always emphasize this, that Maidan was a mistake, that it made things worse. The government's the same. Something needs to be done. They need to violently overthrow the government.
Содержание на 70-80% это.
Trolls register very often. One troll might register up to 70 accounts. In Maslow's hierarchy of needs, one of the most important needs is the human desire to be accepted and valued by others. Just imagine a person surrounded by 70 people who are giving you specific information. Only those 70 accounts are really just one person. To operate effectively and sow the seeds of doubt, Kremlin trolls are divided into different groups. Roman has noticed 4 distinct types. Mykola Hajduk is the first kind. He masquerades as a defender of Ukraine. He has a patriotic, military-themed profile. He posts violent propaganda and calls for violence against dissidents. The second type is the political commentator. They post quotes about the government, fake news, and demonize the country's leaders. Another very interesting type is the perfect Ukrainian. This is usually a very beautiful girl. She'll be dressed up in blue and yellow, or has blue and yellow makeup. She'll be gorgeous. She'll have very high-quality photos. They take pictures of girls in front of sunflowers, or wheat and a blue sky. In short, they're very well done. Carefully selected images of the perfect Ukrainian girl. But the beauty of these girls isn't found in the quality of the content they share. It's just the same questionable links to fake news and outright lies. The fourth type is the rarest. They're the predators. They almost never post anything. They're just administrators. However, despite their secrecy, it's not actually that difficult to recognize the pawns of this Russian-funded information war.
Человек, как правило, пишет
A real person actually writes, even if they're politically engaged, if they're very worried about the country, if they're interested in politics. A real person posts personal things about friends, their travels, etc. If you go to their page and you can't find one post about their personal life, that's a sign that this actually isn't a person. Always pay attention to what's happening on a page. Trolls might post some cute memes or cat photos, but when it comes to political issues, they toe the Kremlin line. When 70 or 80% of the page's content could be considered treason or is about how bad things are in the country, there's a good chance that this was made for you in Moscow. A second thing to look for are calls to violence. If they're systematically pushing violent ideas that violence is the only way to solve your problems, then that's made for you in Lubyanka. Moreover, experts advise that you never respond to their posts, because the more reactions a troll gets, the more money they get paid. And don't be naive. Always double-check information. The days of a bias-free, non-politically charged internet are long gone.
Never
believe a single article. Always double-check information with a reliable, trustworthy source. Or look for other official sources. If there are inconsistencies, then you're dealing with a troll or you're being trolled. It's knowingly falsified information intended to deceive. There's a legion of them. Their weapons are lies and manipulation. They need a large army of zombies to further the Kremlin's plan, but recognizing them is simple. Always double-check your information.